Would you like to see the big guy, the skipper, the head honcho?
Good morning, Captain.
Good morning, Captain.
You're listening to Morning Joe with the CO.
We're going to start with two, and if you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Lieutenant Eric Leigh, Base Security Officer.
Morning, Lauren Blakley, Safety Director for the base.
All right. And if you don't mind, can you briefly describe what you have to do with public safety?
What it is that you do here?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll kick it off. Department head for the security department, and one of our primary objectives is keeping everybody safe on the base, and obviously that can mean a lot of different things. But in light of this morning's topic, policing, right? Enforcing the standards, making sure everybody's wearing their bike helmets, making sure everybody's operating motor vehicle safety, making sure that proper PPE is being worn when you're on a skateboard, for example. So a lot of different things, all tying back to safety. But what we really love to do is to enforce everybody following proper safety rules.
All right. Coming out strong, talking about those bike helmets. How about you?
I'm loving it. Lieutenant just hit the nail on the head. Basically, both our departments work together. My department's more on the conditions of the base, like the street lights are working, the crosswalk lights are working. Does everybody know what the requirements are? And that's why we have our safety stand-downs, our monthly newsletters, to make sure that the word's getting out there so that we can make sure everybody's understanding what the risks are when they're walking around, jogging, or riding a bike on the base.
All right, you guys are trigger word killing it this morning. Good one. All right, well, let's kick it right off. So, we recently had the Kraken games. Are you guys familiar with the Kraken games?
I think I was gone when they had those. I was looking for a new house.
I'm familiar, but I think we're looking forward to the Highland games over at the security department. That's
also
what we're
true.
geared up for.
Yeah, for all the loyal listeners out there, the Kraken games is a way to do some performative events and then couple that with your mental health. And so we recently experienced some of that. I tried, definitely experienced some safety issues and trying to overextend myself running through a bouncy house there. So, available to all the commands. If you'd like to talk through the MWR, I would highly recommend the Kraken games for a way to get about a group of 30 to 40 folks together and really talk through the experience of stress and how to deal with stress in action in real time. Did you have the opportunity to read during the school? To read across the DIA recently?
No, I was probably out of town.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to doing that, but...
You can always volunteer.
Yes, sir.
I haven't done it, but I did send the assistant SECO over to do it a couple times. So.
All right. Just wanted to throw a shout out for both volunteering at the school and also the importance of reading in your classroom and everyday life. So let's talk about that safety. I want to kick it off and talk about helmets, bicycle helmets, scooter helmets. Why do we wear helmets?
Well, I'm going to let Lauren start with that one, sir.
Well, the reason we wear helmets is because gravity works 100% of the time. And you never know when you're going to have a mishap, a dog run out in front of you, a new pothole that wasn't there before. You never know what's going to happen when you're out there on a bicycle or a skateboard. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of reports out there on people getting injured. And a helmet is probably the one piece of safety gear that everybody should have on their head if their feet are off the ground for any type of mobile activity. If it's electric motor, gas motor, pedal, human, whatever, your feet are off the ground, you got to have a helmet on. It's just not negotiable. It's required. And if you go into our OPNAV 5100.23, Chapter 36, which is our traffic safety instruction, it states in there when you're on a military installation, you have to wear a helmet. It's not negotiable.
I see the admiration in the eyes of the security officer here with your reference to instructions.
Yeah, I got really excited because I also want to mention the local instruction, which is the ComNavAx 5560.1, which also regurgitates everything in the DoD at the local level on base for wearing a helmet, both for motorized and non-motorized equipment. I would also add, not wearing a helmet will definitely increase the chances of you meeting your friendly neighborhood Naval Security Forces patrolmen, because if they see you not wearing a helmet, they are likely to stop and talk to you. So that's a great way to get to know somebody if you're riding around on your skateboard or your bike without a helmet, because they are going to make contact with you and ask you where your helmet is and then have you expeditionally retrieve it and put it back on.
I'd rather have them meet one of your outstanding patrolmen than one of the outstanding people from the medical department.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, it's just not something that I want to deal with, especially when you're driving through housing and you see little kids out there on their little scooters and bicycles and they're not wearing a helmet. Mm-hmm. Being a dad and hopefully a future granddad, my kids, they had a helmet before they got on the bike.
And where can you find helmets?
You can get them at the exchange. Out in town, Decathlon has a awesome selection of helmets. And even if you buy one out in town, if it says EU compliant on it, it meets the ANSI standards, NAVAL, and all the other U.S. standards. So don't hesitate to go out and find one out in town if you can't find one at the exchange.
I know some people are concerned about being fashion forward. We're in a very fashion forward country. So does it matter what color? Does the design matter? Can you wear a bike helmet on a scooter or a skater helmet on a bike?
Equipment for the application.
Okay.
That's one of the things that we do in my office. What's the hazard? What's the standard? And is that helmet going to protect your head for the activity that you're going to be participating in? Bicycle helmets are for bicycles. I don't think there would be a problem wearing one if you're on a skateboard, but it's like a rock climbing helmet is designed for rock climbing. Bicycle helmets are designed for bicycles. Motorcycle helmets are designed for riding a motorcycle. And if you look at the difference between the two, they're a little bit more robust, got more padding in them, because your speed's faster. So make sure that you're using the proper helmet for the proper activity. Obviously, we will not have our fire department out there responding to a fire wearing a bike helmet.
Obviously.
That's not a good thing.
I totally agree with all those points, but I would also add that I think the helmet should look really cool and should match your personality and things like that.
Mohawks?
I'm okay with that. I think it's really cool.
Unicorn horns?
No.
Yes.
Flexible. You know.
No unicorn horns.
I just want to put a shout out there for the dragon helmets.
Maybe
with wings.
Maybe
Yep.
Viking horns.
Oh.
Yep.
But again, pliable, not sharp. Good segue there. Let's talk about e-scooters and e-bikes and things that go kind of medium, slow, fast.
Yeah, absolutely, sir. You know, there's a lot of different things that fall into this category. So for all the listeners, a good quick litmus test of whether or not your equipment falls into this guidance is if it can reach a speed of anywhere from 6 to 25 kilometers per hour, or if the weight is greater than 25 kilograms. So just so everybody's tracking, this includes most of the personal motorized scooter type equipment that the NEX sells, as well as a lot of different items that you can get out in town. So recently, the Spanish government, January, passed some guidance that these personal vehicles, have to be registered and insured, and that was passed and enforced through the Spanish Directorate General of Traffic. There's a website set up that you can Google that will allow you to register your vehicle, and then it's up to you to get with your insurance company to get the required amount of insurance. The reason this is important is because if you get in an accident while riding one of these electronic scooters or mopeds or smaller mobility vehicles, you can get fined up to 800 euros.
Ouch.
That sounds significant.
Yeah. I'd also add that we had a conversation with the NEX, and they've got some paperwork out in the scooter section where the bicycles are, just to sort of give everybody a heads up as you're looking at those items or planning on buying one for a child or a friend or even yourself. You'll have that information right there. They've got it posted in a little placard, and you can read it and get all the details there, and so you'll know what you're getting into as far as registration and insurance go before you purchase it.
How will people survive without their scooters?
Well, I hope it doesn't impact. I think everybody should keep buying these vehicles. I think these vehicles make the ease of transportation to and from work, and as well as other extracurricular activities easy, especially for junior sailors. They're a little bit cheaper, and it's just another fact of life. These things got to be registered and insured, like so many other things. So I hope not too much of an impact. I hope everybody keeps riding and riding safely.
I think people want to say, why? Why?
Well, I would say we reside in a foreign country, and we need to follow foreign country rules and laws, and we need to be good guests, sir.
Have we had a few accidents in recent history with e-bikes, e-scooters?
None that immediately come to mind.
We totally had a few. We had a few spills around the roundabout. People getting a little too wild, missing the turn.
In cars, for sure. I don't know about mopeds or scooters.
I believe we had one or two. The one thing that I want to stress is if you buy one of those bikes, and people are generally smarter than I am, especially when it comes to computers, don't modify it in any way, shape, or form. Because I know sailors with smartphones can figure out how to modify those scooters to make them go faster. Do not do that.
Right.
It's just bad things are going to happen. And also when you modify them, it can cause it to overheat while it's charging and cause a fire.
That is not the only reason
that's not the only reason, but that is a contributing factor in that. And if you're going to charge something that's got a large lithium battery in it, which those scooters do, they're a pretty good sized battery, you got to keep an eye on it. You can't just plug it in and walk away and leave. For a couple of hours, bad things can happen.
What about taking them off sweet jumps? Where are you on that?
Off of what?
Like building a ramp, and ramping it for...
I'm going to hit you. No.
Metaphorically with your words.
No.
Yes.
No. I'm speaking from experience of a guy that grew up riding a bicycle, and in a little tiny town of 1,500 people, you found ways to entertain yourself, and a ramp and a bicycle is one of them.
Right.
I'm lucky I'm still alive, me and half of my friends.
Yeah.
I don't recommend you do that.
Okay.
We have skateboard parks. You want to get that kind of thrill on, go to the skateboard park, put your helmet, your elbow pads, knee pads, mouth guard in, and have at it.
So you're not saying I can't have fun.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
You're just saying
smart
be
about it.
Smart and safe.
Exactly. But also no ramps. I feel like you made that pretty clear.
Not on a bicycle or a scooter.
All right.
Unless it's at a park.
Exactly.
A skate park.
Fair enough.
Or a bicycle park.
Fair enough.
With your appropriate safety gear on.
Yes.
And maybe even some training and mentorship.
That would help.
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to jump back into some music with a little 90s throwback, and it's going to be Can't Touch This by MC Hammer.
We talked about a lot of great things, the importance of bicycle helmets, the importance of regulations, the reality of regulations and how we appreciate them to provide a safe environment for us and our families and fellow co-workers. We have some exciting events coming up, mostly one major event that we call
Spring break.
Yes, good. Right on cue. Let's talk about spring break. Are there things we should be concerned about?
Yes, well, spring break, kids are out of school. That means they're out and about on the streets and roads. So, especially going through housing, please be mindful of the speed limit. Kids are out there focusing on having fun. They're not focusing on being safe. Not a bad thing. That's the way children are. So it's up to us adults to pay attention a little bit, be more vigilant, watch out for them. A lot of times family and friends are coming in from out in town. Please let them know of, the requirements of being on base, and driving requirements. Obviously, pay attention. We drive in kilometers per hour, not miles per hour here, so there is a big difference.
You are covering so much ground, excuse the pun. So let's highlight a few of those. Number one, we get some visitors on base, or we want some visitors on base. How would I get a visitor on base? Where should I go?
Sure, great question, sir. So obviously spring break, people have got a lot of friends and family coming in, but hey, we are on a Spanish base, and we got some policies we need to follow. So I hope everybody's tracking. E7 and above have escort privileges, right? So they can bring a first or second nationality individual, that's U.S. or Spanish, on board the base, just right there at the gate. The guest just shows their passport, and the E7 or above shows his TEI card and CAC, and the Spanish PN, the Spanish Marine, will let them on the base. For E6 and below, you just need to pull off to the side at Rota or Puerto Gate and bring your guest into the QP shack, and they'll verify all that documentation that I just mentioned, and they'll write you a quick pass. Then you can get back in the traffic lane and come on board the base. Additionally, if your guest is not a first or second nationality, but they're from another country of origin, that's fine too. You just have to take a couple extra steps. You have to come into the security department at building 3262, and we can get a social pass filled out for you and get your guest on the base. One important thing to note, though, you need to stay with your guest at all times. You can't just bring your guest on board, drop them off at the necks all day, and go about your business. And that's for everybody's safety, as well as to keep us in line with Spanish policy.
Right. So we are accountable for our guests on the Spanish base.
Absolutely.
We talked about bringing people on. Let's talk about street lights. So, time change. We have the sun coming up a little earlier now. So I know through the winter time, some of the corners seemed a little bit dangerous. We've got the low intensity street lights that don't necessarily cover the entire corners. What should we be worried about there?
Speed, and be vigilant for bicycle riders, skateboards, people walking, jogging. You kind of touched on one of the issues we do have here on Naval Station Rota, Spain, is the street lighting. It's not lit up like bases back in the States. And, again, we follow Spanish traffic safety laws, so they may have a little bit different requirements when it comes to lumens. So paying attention to the speed limit, adhere to the speed limit, watch out for people walking. And again, if you're walking on base, be seen.
What about reflective gear?
Mandatory.
I don't see it a lot.
You don't see it a lot, but it is in our base local hazards instruction. If you're out and about during darkness or reduced visibility, you're required to be wearing at least a reflective belt or a reflective vest. Carry a flashlight. That's a good idea to do. Brightly colored clothing with maybe reflective stripes on it or some kind of material. Be seen as being safe.
Yeah, I think it's particularly important for our junior sailors living in the barracks, especially if they're getting up early and walking to work, walking to various places on the base, or they're on their scooter or their moped, wearing that high-vis gear. I know the listeners can't see it, but when Mr. Blakley walked in this morning, his jacket is so bright construction yellow that you can't even look directly at it. And I think, how much safer would this world be if all junior sailors were wearing something like that when they transition to work in the morning. So I think it's just as important for the pedestrian walking to be safety minded as it is for the operator of a motor vehicle.
Yeah, that's good points, Lieutenant. And I'm a bicycle rider, and normally I'm riding my bicycle probably 8 months out of the year back and forth to work. My bicycle helmet is actually reflective, and I got it at the exchange. It was not even $25, and yeah, you can see it from a distance. And also another thing is bicycles, scooters, gotta have lights on them.
Yeah.
White light up front, red light on the back, not reflectors. Have to be a light.
And those are cheap and available.
Exactly.
At all of your sporting goods stores. One of the things that, as fashion comes in and out of vogue, as you might say, the 80s are just right around the corner. So we're going to see a lot more neon coming up. And I think you're starting that trend. I could see you a mile away today.
Hey, I got to leave a legacy when I walk out the door. So
I thought you said you were going to wear your leggings. I said I don't think we have to bring back everything.
No.
We're not ready for that.
I'm not in not bell bottoms or anything like that. Just bright reflective clothing.
It could be armbands. There's reflective belts. Most of the sports gear, running shorts have reflective material, components to them. So I think I just wanted to highlight the personal responsibility you have for self-preservation, and then the community responsibility we all have to look out for each other. Because I've seen some well-intentioned folks walk into the gym from the Corps barracks. They are not illuminated. They are wearing some tactical gym clothes in blacks and grays and things that, while fashion conscious in the gym setting, I suppose, I was cruising up at 10 kilometers an hour, and I did not see them until I was really right next to them,
right on top of them,
and not using the crosswalks. So I'd remind people to use the marked crosswalks to provide expectation management, if nothing else. Cross where you're supposed to. You're going to the gym, so you can probably walk the extra 5 steps, ironically, to take the crosswalk as well.
You guys
all
want
right,
to
welcome to the show. Want to introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. Good morning. My name is John Fahling. I'm the fire inspector with Rota Fire Emergency, and I'm privileged to be here. Good morning.
All right, hey, it's good to have you on the show. So just tying up some loose ends from before the song break there. I also wanted to remind people, when you take your spring break, register through the Department of State STEP program. Let them know where you're at. That way, if there's announcements that need to be made, they will know how to find you. Also, check your foreign clearance guide to make sure there's no extra rules you need to be following when entering a foreign country as a U.S. citizen. We talked about driving safety. What are some quick, doesn't have to be, what are some accurate and thorough things a family should do before they get on the road this traveling season?
Well, make sure that their car's ready to do what they want it to do, like check the tires, make sure that the pressures within the specs. If you check on the door post, there'll be a little sticker there to tell you what your tire pressure should be. Don't read the pressure on the tire, on the side of the tire. That's the maximum. We don't want that. Have it tuned up. Make sure the tread on the tires is acceptable. Have emergency supplies in the back in the trunk, like jumper cables. Maybe a tire repair kit. I have one in my car. It's a compressor that you plug into the lighter, so if you do get a flat, you repair it. You can air your tire up. Things like that. Just make sure the vehicle's safe to go. Wiper blades. You should change those on a regular basis, because the sun here does degrade those, and they don't do the job the older they are. So make sure your car's ready to go.
Besides vehicle safety, I see a quick note in here too. Let's talk about electrical safety. So we brought it up before. We talked about charging the lithium-ion batteries. They've been an issue in airplanes. They are relatively new technology for most of us. They're advanced. They bring amazing convenience to our lives. From the fire and emergency services perspective, what are we worried about with some of these new electronics?
The main thing is making sure that they're UL approved, like tested by a good testing company, and then the European version would be CE, which would make it more safe than compliant. Yes, sir. The best thing to take note of is to read your manufacturer labels, to like what was said earlier about when you're charging them, to make sure that you have the right outlet, the right voltage, and to make sure that you keep an eye on it while it's charging. Please be aware of any combustibles that are in the area of where you're charging your electric unit, and recycling the batteries when they go out, to make sure that you dispose of them correctly.
Is it a concern plugging 110 into 220 or 220 into 110? Can you just charge a battery through any system?
You'll be in for a great big surprise real quick. You don't want to plug in a 110 device into a 220 outlet, because it will work for about 1 microsecond, and then it will not work again. It may turn into something else, like maybe a fireball.
Okay.
But don't try that. That's not a challenge. That's just a warning that don't plug 110 into a 220.
Can you plug a 220 into a 110?
Yes, and it may work, but it'd be extremely dim, extremely slow, may not warm up like it's supposed to. Just make sure that you're using the proper outlet, proper voltage for the equipment that you're going to use.
Can you use a transformer?
Transformers, that's what they're designed for.
Oh.
Just make sure that if it's a high amperage device like a microwave, that the transformer will be able to handle that, because if not, that transformer can get extremely hot.
Usually there's some sort of circuit protection.
Right, circuit
either a
protector.
fuse in there or a circuit breaker. So if done properly, then safety first. We can have our convenience in our appliances and our e-bikes, regardless of whether you're on base or off, and regardless of whether you bought them on base or out in town.
Right.
So read the labels, know what you're doing. And if you don't know, is there anywhere they can find that information on base? Can they ask somebody?
Yes, definitely call. You can call Rota Fire, at any time.
Is there a non-emergency number that you have handy, or where could they find that number?
Yes, sir. The PSN number for fire prevention is 721-4878, and we can definitely provide a lot of information. We prefer, if you have any questions, to call fire prevention.
What would those normal working hours look like?
We're open 24/7, but fire prevention is mainly ready for calls from 7 to 4 p.m.
So, quick shout out. If there's an emergency or there's something or someone needs help, what do they dial on their phones?
So, on base, through a landline, 911 will reach Rota Dispatch. If you're using a cell phone, the number to call, I have it on my phone, but if you call 911 with your cell phone, it will reach the outside entities. It'll call Spain Dispatch. The other number that you can call to is 112. Again, for using a cell phone, it's imperative to call through your mobile phone, 956-82-2911. Again, that number is 956-82-2911, and that'll reach Rota Dispatch.
So someone can put that in their phone, label it emergency on base, keep it handy.
Yes.
So we talked about spring break, we talked about basic safety, we talked about looking both ways before you cross the street. What are some things we're getting into the summer season? Is there any precautions people should be preparing for in terms of the weather or the heat?
Sunscreen, hydration, preferably with water. There are other beverages that people like to hydrate with, but those with caffeine and alcohol in them tend to dehydrate you a little bit quicker than regular water.
Sounds like you're going to a barbecue. Anything we should be aware of when cooking?
Oh, yes, sir. Definitely pay attention to the weather, winds. The Andalusia fire ban is from June 1st through October 15th. They do customize it depending on the dryness of the summer. Again, another thing is use common sense when you are grilling, barbecuing. Make sure there's no combustibles around. Make sure that kids aren't around playing, and to just keep it to always observe and have a fire extinguisher available. Please be aware of any combustibles in the area.
So, you're a fire inspector.
Yes, sir.
We have a very thorough inspection program on the base. We call it a zone inspection. So if you're working on base, you may see a group of safety, fire, and public works, along with some leadership, walking through your spaces. What are we looking for?
We're looking for hazards and just anything. We really just want the community to be safe. We want to make sure that fire extinguishers are in place, that fire sprinkler suppression is up to date, fire alarm panels are up to date, and just the public awareness. Again, safety is the main importance. The list can go on forever, but we really want to practice evacuation drills, fire evacuation drills with proper exit routes, clear of pathways.
So keeping the doors clear of debris, making sure your hot water tanks and your server farms and your other kind of places should be free of clutter.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to store combustible materials underneath a stairwell. That's a big one. Block fire bottles. Don't stack boxes in front of the fire bottles or furniture.
Stairwells are not a storage space.
No, they're not. Exit signs. Make sure your exit signs are working. Do not stack things in front of a circuit breaker panel. Things like that. That's some of the more common things that we find.
I've really liked the group of folks that get together because you kind of cover all aspects of, the nexus of safety, your daily life, the quality of the building, how people are living in a building. That includes, we look for cleanliness, we look for things that are out of order, we look for things that are unsafe, we look for things that need to be repaired. So all of those things, they can contact probably the either public works or you can put in a trouble call. All of those will reach you to address those issues, right? Is there any other ways that someone should reach out and make us aware of maybe a non-safe condition?
We have a QR code that is on our newsletter, and we have some little business cards with the QR code on it. You can take a photo, preferably not while you're driving. Please pull over to the side. You take a picture of the hazard, scan that QR code. It automatically opens up an email in your phone. Upload the picture, hit send, and it comes to everybody in the safety office. And we get that, and that way we can get out there really quickly and check it out and do what we need to do to protect the people.
Generally speaking, and this goes along with all things, if you see something, say something.
Exactly.
So my community message is we are all here together as part of the community. So if you see something that will help, please say something, whether you use the QR safety code, the hospital has a QR code, we have our ICE comment box. All of those things will reach leadership so that we can take action and we can contribute to the overall public safety of the base. And I think everyone should feel entitled to be part of the community and be a responsible person to look out for our neighbors. Would that be a fair thing to say?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Hit it right on the head, sir.
So I think we're looking at some community updates. So let's see what we have here. We talked about some general safety issues. We'd also like to remind everybody that they should update their NFAS profile. That would be their Navy Family Accountability and Assessment System. Yes, we do this multiple times a year, and yes, we continue to find people don't do it. So log in, update it. Make sure you click on the boxes for all of your family members, not just yourself. I'm also going to throw a shout out for the ad hoc system. Make sure you register your email and your phone so that you can get those instant messages about things that we want you to be aware of. Finally, we have mental wellness support coming up. We're going to have some updates on our Fleet and Family Support Facebook page, and we have some access to programs to provide you with remote training and personal support and counseling, whether on land or sea. We are partnering as a Navy with Headspace, so all the active duty Navy members and their families will have access to the app. That will be another tool in your toolbox. Any final words from our guests?
It was a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's best base in the Navy.
I would agree with you. And I would say thank you to all the listeners. You make it that way. You make it so. Part of our community. Every day everyone's working real hard to make this the premier installation in the world. So thank you for a good show. I'll see you around the installation.